welcome to the kickoff episode of our new series, Refresh Your Life. I am Addie Spark Kim.
And I'm Denise Pozavento. We're both wellness ambassadors for the Juice Plus company. And in addition to being busy mamas, Addie is a certified health coach and I am a certified bar instructor. We're both super committed to inspiring healthy living, and we're always searching for resources that help us continually hit the refresh button on various aspects of our total wellness. We really recognize that it's hard to stay on your wellness A game all the time. Our goal is to share tools that will help all of us get retuned, refocused on self-care. We also realize there's no silver bullet. One size fits all approaches, it just doesn't exist. And things are constantly changing.
So let me also just quickly say that as busy moms, in addition to all our wellness endeavors, Denise and I also want the best for our families. And we know that having good health is really important, but it also cannot always be easy to achieve that. So we want our lives and yours to be focused on doing the things that we all love and spending time with the people we love. And we hope that this Refresh Your Life series will inspire you to be able to do that and to make health a priority. So today our theme is Spring into Health. It may not feel like spring just yet in most of the country. There's still a lot of cold weather happening, but it's just around the corner. And so now is a really good time to prepare our bodies for a big seasonal change. Spring is an important season to get focused on health because one, it's a rough time of year for those with allergies. Those little flower buds are starting to pop out everywhere. Pollens are soon going to be coming to life and flying through the air and creating lots of irritation for those of us that are super sensitive to that. Also, for the vast majority of us, we are emerging out of a very cold season of winter. This winter was pretty rough for most of the country in terms of both weather and illnesses. So our bodies are at a point where they're really craving warmer weather. And with that, the seasonal change can impact our energy levels. It can impact our sleeping patterns, our moods. And so it's important for us to stay energized so that we can keep up with our busy lives. And then we're also at the time of year where spring break is starting to happen for many of us. And summer's just around the corner. So for those of us that are feeling motivated to get back into shape or continue working to be fit and toned for the warm months and swimsuit season, all of the strategies that we're going to talk about today are going to help with that. Like Denise said, these tools are meant to help you hit the refresh button and stay on your wellness A game. So Denise, your family has been challenged with various allergies. Can you talk to us about some of the things that you do to help your family members manage through this and stay healthy most of the time?
Oh geez, so allergies, it's such a frustrating topic. I know here in Northern California, we're getting tons of rain, which is awesome. But what I think in my head, because my family deals with allergies, is I think, oh my goodness, the rain is great. But then as soon as it peels off, everything's gonna bloom. And we're just like, it's prime for allergy flare-ups. So in my family, we deal with food allergies and environmental allergies. So we've been hit with a double whammy. But for today, I'm going to just focus on talking about the environmental allergies. We've really found that the key to this is to stay ahead of the game. So what do I mean by that? We try to maintain good habits when allergy symptoms are at bay, so that we're not just responding and medicating flare-ups. Because a lot of times, by the time we see the symptoms, they're already kind of far gone, and it can take twice as much of the over-the-counter medications to get them back under control. So this kind of keeping it, getting ahead of it, for us has really involved a holistic approach throughout the year, with extra diligence leading up to allergy season in the spring and fall. There are a few things we do. First, I try to really reduce toxins in our home. I use environmentally friendly cleaning products, and a lot of people really think that they have to use really harsh products with lots of chemicals, and it's really a mindset thing. We think that without these chemicals, things aren't going to be clean or sanitized, but that's not true. There are a lot of very natural ways to clean, using white vinegar, or even I have a friend who uses straight vodka with water, and then she adds essential oils to it. So there's a lot of different things that that you can do, and a lot of also great products out there that are very green. Fragrances and chemicals can be an irritant in the home for sensitive people, but what's also important to consider is that they're also absorbed by the body, and when this happens, it weakens the immune system. So in addition to a lot of other things that people talk about when it comes to chemicals, it's really what I think is the most important thing is to remember is that if your body's responding to these chemicals that are weakening the immune system, you're not really setting yourself up or equipping yourself with the resources to be able to counter that histamine response when it comes up. So I like to look at everything from hand soaps and just regular soaps that we use on our bodies and shampoos to laundry and dish detergent to also just what I clean the surfaces with. We also incorporate HEPA air filters into our house. I like to have them in bedrooms or high traffic areas. They help eliminate dust and just contaminants in the air that come in from outside. I mentioned essential oils. I like to diffuse oils in our bedrooms at night that can help. And then also you can apply them to the feet and the chest if there's anytime there's congestion for help with breathing. So that's another tool that I use. And then probably the last and most important tool that I'm going to talk about is really nutrition. Arming your body with micronutrients is such a crucial part of addressing allergy issues. You may know many people. I know people who suffer from chronic allergies, and they kind of teeter on the edge of being sick and having allergies. It's so easy for people who have allergies to, when they're in a flare-up, that it kind of crosses the border into some sort of infection, whether it be a sinus infection, strep, or something else. It's just really easy because your body's immune system, again, is weakened. So you really want to focus on having a really strong foundation of health. Now, how we do this is we try to flood our bodies consistently with micronutrients. We use Juice Plus produce capsules and chewables. And what Juice Plus is, it's concentrated produce powders in capsule or chewable form. So it's food, and my whole family takes it. And basically it helps us maintain a really strong baseline so that when our bodies are stressed by allergy flare-ups, it's not going to be a domino effect into other things. So our bodies can address the allergies, and we're not as likely to have it just snowball and get even more have it go farther away from us. So that's my experience on allergies, and they're really just 3 simple tools. They can sound intimidating, especially when it comes to changing out your products, but there's a lot out there, and I'm always happy to share more details if anyone wants it. So I just kind of want to turn it back to you, and I'm curious, and I think people would love to hear this. Since I've met you, you've been singing the praises of detoxing, and I'm definitely hooked from you. So I'm curious, when is a good time to detox, and what steps do you recommend for anyone who's considering it this time of year?
Well, first, let me point out that there are different types of detoxes. So there's the body detox, which we're going to focus on today. But there's also emotional detox. I'm going to touch on that a little bit later on. And then there's things like digital detoxes, which Denise and I talk about a lot because we're finding increasingly that we need to like get away from all of our devices because they start to kind of take over your life. But the word detox has become super buzzy and is now being used for all kinds of things. But like I said, today I really want to just focus on body detoxing, and that is addressing all of the environmental toxins, you know, the allergens that Denise was just talking about. How do we manage that in our bodies? So our bodies are naturally built to detoxify every day as part of our normal body processes. And we do this by eliminating and neutralizing toxins through our different organs, the colon, the liver, the kidneys, lungs, lymph, our skin. But today's world, we're exposed to a number of environmental pollutants in the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. So it's super important to eliminate toxins from our body because one, they can actually be a major cause of weight gain if we have toxins that are entering our body and they're not being flushed out. Our bodies have a natural response to actually create fat around them to protect our organs. They can also, you know, at some point become overloaded even in our fat tissue and then get into our organs. And that can cause a variety of health issues, lead to chronic disease, fatal diseases. So it's really important to realize like what the potential health path that these toxins can take if we don't get them out of our bodies. And with that, you know, they can disrupt our quality of life. They can make us feel tired and sluggish, have headaches, skin issues or breakouts, digestive issues, and then also just make us much more prone to viruses like colds and flu, and to, like Denise just touched on, really create more severe allergy symptoms, make it just a lot harder for our bodies to combat the histamines as they're entering. So I personally started detoxing in my 20s because I suffered from a variety of health issues, some of them seasonal allergy related, some of them related to a lot of digestive issues that I was having. And I just had tried a lot of different things, over-the-counter medicines, going to, you know, kind of traditional Western medicine doctors, and I just wasn't getting results. And so I started turning to different types of detoxing. And it helped me tremendously. I mean, I really started to take my health back, I feel like, at this period of my life. And it's what basically catapulted me into what has now become a wellness career, because these lifestyle changes that I had to make to feel better really did make a huge difference for me. And, you know, I'm also someone that's just really sensitive to environmental toxins. So like Denise, I have switched to all plant-based cleaning products, beauty products. So I'm not just conscious about toxins in my food, but also in my water, and all of the things that basically surround me or that I put into my body. I'm not going to lie and tell you that detoxing is super fun, and something I look forward to. I love food. You know, my husband's in the restaurant business, so like we love to consume all different kinds of foods and indulge, and you know, not have to stress about every single thing that we're putting in our bodies. But because I know what the impact and the buildup can be if we're not paying attention to that, I really find that, you know, doing periodic detoxing just kind of helps stabilize. It helps keep the balance. There are actually over 80,000 man-made chemicals currently in use in the United States, and very few of them have been tested for their effects on human health. So while our bodies were designed to detox things that naturally occur in our environment, with all of these different man-made chemicals, our bodies just can't do that the way that they were initially designed to do. We really have to help them be more efficient. So I think of detoxing like an oil change for your car. You're ideally putting in the best quality oil, and after a few thousand miles, you need to flush it out and start with new oil. So detoxing is just flushing out that yucky stuff that builds up and then helping your engine run at a top performance level. So who doesn't want that, right? So when it comes to detoxing, there's several different ways to do it. I like to primarily do it through diet. So this is, either doing an elimination diet, which is stripping your body of things like refined sugars and glutens, maybe the, high fat animal or high animal fats, things that, are harder for our body to digest and that can actually accumulate in our bodies. And then that's something like, an elimination diet followed by clean eating, really focusing on, seasonal fruits and vegetables, getting lots of hydration, like water that is purified and not out of a plastic bottle. Things like this can really be a great way to start a detox process. Denise and I actually both participate in and host something called the Shred 10, which is 10 days of clean eating, elimination of inflammatory foods and alcohol with extra focus on hydrating, exercise, and getting enough sleep. I tend to do this about every other month, just because I find that's what helps me feel the best. But even, twice a year, like a spring and a fall detox is really great just to reset your body and just help, with energy levels, with overall health. There are also shorter cleanses that you can do. Some people are really big on, the juice cleanses. I think that if you're going to do something like that, you definitely want to, make sure that you're getting advice of your primary care doctor, and just really making sure that, that's something that's great for you, and do those much shorter time periods. It's also, possible to flood your body with good nutrition daily to eliminate toxins. So like Denise, my family also takes Juice Plus every single day, and we're getting nutrition from 30 different whole foods. And that's basically a little mini detox that's happening regularly in our body. And that's just helping us to operate more efficiently and flush toxins out of our systems faster. This has also, similar to what Denise said, has helped my family to really deal with seasonal allergies. I would say 98% of my seasonal allergies have gone away since I've made a lot of significant lifestyle changes. And I've also seen incredible results in my kids. My oldest has suffered all kinds of, allergy issues. He was born with eczema and suffered a lot of eczema his first 2 years, and just changing up his diet and flooding his body with micronutrients has been huge in helping him overcome the vast majority of his issues. He does still have some food allergies, which we just are constantly monitoring and dealing with. So there's also other types of cleanses. There are things like colon hydrotherapy. So, there really are just a lot of different options out there. I'm going to put some information on my blog at addiesparkhim.com, so you can read a little bit more about some of the different types of detox programs out there, if it's something that you really want to explore. But I would say, my best advice is to really start with food, what you're putting in your body, and cleaning that up, and that can make a huge difference. So a couple things to think about if you're thinking about detoxing is examining how you feel. If you are starting to see like a thick coating on your tongue, or you might be carrying extra weight, if you have recurring skin rashes, you feel sluggish, any of these types of symptoms are things that would be great to look into doing some kind of detox to try to help overcome. One thing I do want to point out, that if you are low on body weight, you're pregnant or breastfeeding or going through a really stressful period in your life, I would not advise cleansing. I would not advise cleansing or detoxing, and definitely consult a physician before undertaking any type of detox program. So now that we've covered detoxing, I want to shift to something else that can be really affected this time of year as we're, doing this big seasonal shift, and that is energy levels. So Denise, as a working mom of 3 kiddos and a husband that travels a lot for work, you're always juggling a lot. And I'm often and on how you manage it all. So can you share your top 3 tips for maintaining good energy so that you can keep up with your active, busy life?
Absolutely. So wait, I just want to say, Addie, we've done detoxes together a lot now, and you say you don't look forward to it, but I also think like we both sort of, it's like a love-hate thing, like, cause
it's definitely love-hate.
yeah, because you get used to doing it, and then your body, like, you just recognize that you need to do it, like you become so in tune with your body.
My body craves it, and I'll like know that I need to do it. I think giving up on things is always hard for anyone, even when you know how good you're going to feel.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean that in a negative, just meaning like, it's one of those things that, like anything, I don't like going to the dentist, but I know that I have to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that feeling of my teeth being smooth. Okay, so I will definitely get into how I maintain energy. But I have to say, it's so funny because I laugh when you say like, oh, if you're at all impressed at how I juggle my life, I laugh sort of because I'm so pretty much all the time I'm in a constant state of feeling like I need to catch up. Something is not getting done, or I wish I would have been able to do more. By the end of the day, I always have that feeling. So, just to point out that we're all struggling with the same stresses, just different circumstances, and we often compare ourselves, especially as moms, and that's such like a talking about toxins, that's a really toxic mindset. So I do think that kind of really thinking deeply about how you see yourself, and maybe how it's so easy for us to let those negative thoughts come in, it really plays a role when we're talking about maintaining energy, because I really think that it's about having patience for ourselves and acceptance. I need to accept that I'm not Wonder Woman, and surprise, surprise, newsflash, I'm not. And that's totally okay. And I really shouldn't even try to be. So what I see for me, it comes down to maintaining energy comes down to 3 simple things that we all know: good sleep, exercise, and nutrition. But why are these 3 things so hard to keep up? And it's really because it's hard for us, especially as women, as moms, we're often taking care of others. And it's really hard to create strong boundaries, especially around these things that, exercise can sometimes feel selfish. Not, we might feed our kids healthy, but then we're snacking and we're not really taking care of ourselves because we're thinking about other people, or we're staying up late to do laundry or something, or have something be just so for the next day,
or email each other about our webinar at 11:30 at night.
Yeah, that too. So this is all work in progress, but really, if you feel out of balance in these areas, and really think about protecting, developing some strong boundaries around these things and protecting them fiercely. So for example, I really feel like sleep, exercise, and nutrition really flow in a circle where one begets the other. So if I get a good night's sleep, the next day I'm going to feel energetic, I'm going to feel positive, I may have less negative self-talk going on, and I feel like, okay, I can tackle this. And so I'm more likely to get that workout in. And if I get a workout in and I'm well rested, I crave good foods. And then by the end of the day, guess what? I'm tired because I've just kicked ass that day and I've eaten well and my body's like, okay, let's just shut it down. Let's rest. Now, let's like flip that. Let's go in the other direction. If I let's just pick exercise. Like if I don't exercise for a few days, then what's going to start to happen is maybe that by the time night comes or the evening comes, I am going to stay up and email or text at 11:30 um, about a webinar because I'm like, hey, I'm wide awake, party time. My body's like not, coming to that full stop. And so I might think, oh, I can do just this one more thing. And then I stay up too late. And then I wake up late and I'm tired. I oversleep. I'm already chasing my tail before I've even gotten out of bed. And I spend the morning drinking coffee. Even maybe I'm drinking coffee throughout the afternoon. Who knows? Maybe I skip meals then because I've been drinking coffee and I'm not hungry. And or I crave foods that are high in salt and sugar. I don't necessarily crave a salad or greens. And it's just this vicious cycle where one begets the other. So if I want to turn that around, this is what I do. I say, okay, I gotta flip the switch on this, move in the opposite direction. And so today I'm going to get in a workout, even if it's jam packed, even if it just means 10 minutes of cardio in my living room, jumping up and down. Who knows? It's got to be something. I'm going to do something to just get my heart rate up a little bit, or some strength work. 10, 15, 20 minutes, it can be whatever you can do. Then I'll make sure to have lots of whole foods. I'll drink lots of water. In a way, this could be even seen as like a mini detox. Like for one day, I'm just going to like try to curb the caffeine a little bit. I'm going to really eat good foods. Maybe I'm going to have a great Juice Plus smoothie with lots of protein and fiber, and I can throw a lot of different plants in there on top of the plants that are in the powder. And then, I'll make a commitment to, all right, I've done all this. Now I'm going to put away my work and I'm going to get in bed by, let's say 9 o'clock or whatever it is to get my 8 hours of sleep. And, maybe I'm not going to be able to fall asleep, but I'm going to sit in bed and maybe read a book. I'm going to turn off the screen. Addie mentioned digital detoxing. I think that's so super important. Many of us go to sleep we use our phones as alarms, and we hear the dinging through the night sometimes. And so it's really good to just get that phone on do not disturb, set it aside. It doesn't matter. Shut it down. We all think everything's important. We live in a life with so much urgency, and but you know what? It can all wait. Nothing's that urgent. So just shut it down, be intentional about this, and make it a practice so that when you fall off track, you can just get right back into it. I'm constantly going back to this, and it's what keeps me doing what I love. It keeps me feeling inspired. It keeps me feeling just like I can give. I have more to give when I feel good. So those are, those are my success tips for, maybe not being Wonder Woman, but maybe appearing like Wonder Woman. So that's what I have for you. But, I wanted to just move on to talking about gut health. I think that this is such an important topic, especially now on the heels of this nasty, nasty flu season where, I think it's pretty safe to assume that most people have gut imbalances right now. If they haven't been throwing back lots of NyQuil at some point during the past few months, they've been maybe on antibiotics. And it's just so important to get that gut back in balance. And so Addie, I really wanted I thought it would be a good idea for us to talk about that a little bit. And maybe you could go into the role that gut health plays for overall wellness, because I think a lot of people, you hear those words, but not everyone appreciates or understands what that means fully. And, do you have any recommendations this time of year for people who really want to spring into health and not let the season get them down?
Yeah, this is one of the topics that I find increasingly important, and something that has actually made its way into a lot of mainstream medical discussions. And I agree, this year has been awful. Like I don't know, like watching the news like the last few months, or hearing reports on the number of flu cases, and even deaths from the flu. Oh, it's heartbreaking. So I feel like a lot of people have been afflicted with super nasty viruses. And I agree. I bet you're right that the average person is just really out of balance. I feel like even for all of the things that we do to stay really healthy, we had a couple months where like we were feeling extra run down. Luckily, no flu, nothing that like really put any of my family members like in bed for several days. But I know some people that lost like an entire week due to the flu. So it has definitely been a rough year. But let me just say before we get into the specifics on gut health and some of my strategies for maintaining good health, that I want to circle back to something that Denise touched on a minute or two ago when I started talking in the beginning about detoxing, I also mentioned that emotional detoxing is a thing, and that the physical detoxing and energy boosting strategies we've discussed all need to be coupled, I feel like, with emotional well-being. So Denise just talked about some of her strategies for really maintaining good energy, which she pointed out, when I so agree, is your mindset, right? Like, how are you feeling internally? And I think that it's just really important to make the connection between our emotional well-being and to our physical well-being. And I think so much of that is gut related. So what's happening in our mind and our heart affects us really, really intensely. So I think that, in looking at this whole topic, it's important to recognize that there's this statistic is widely referenced that 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So, I think when we start to really dig deep into this, we got to look at like, okay, what are the triggers for any of our health issues? It's important to really start with what's happening in our gut. Do we have digestive issues? Are we having nutrient absorption issues? Are we holding on to emotions that might be manifesting inside of us as illness? So there are really a lot of things that you have to explore, and really digging deep into the gut and maintaining good gut health. So what our guts need really varies between people. So this is where, I recommend really starting with some kind of medical evaluation. So I really like to get my blood work done, ideally twice a year, but at least once a year. So you can often go to your primary care physician to do this. There are so many functional medical practitioners, integrative medical practitioners out there, naturopaths, osteopaths, like a variety of different people who are very qualified to help kind of do like what I would call like an overall wellness evaluation, where you're getting your blood tested, you're looking at, your nutrient levels, you're looking to see, do you have any food sensitivities? Do you have specific environmental allergen sensitivities? And so from there, then you can really map out what your body needs. So once you kind of have that full picture of your own health, then you can start with, really supporting the gut. And the things I'm going to talk about right now are good for anyone, but I just think that it's really important to not always self-diagnose. I tend to be someone who tries to do that a lot because I'm in the wellness field and I think I know a lot of things. And I do, but our bodies change over time. So yeah, it's a slippery slope, right? Like there are times where I'm like, oh, I need this and I need that. And then I'll go get some blood work. I'm like, oh, I actually need this other thing, or I'm deficient in this other thing. And maybe I was doing too much of something that was having, not necessarily a negative effect, but wasn't necessarily serving what my body really needs. So, so that's why I really just recommend to people to do that. There are actually even clinics now out there where like you just pay to get your blood work done and do this evaluation. I actually used to be a member of something like that in DC. It was called Nava Wellness. And I feel like, probably in major cities, they have places like this in smaller areas, and probably going to your primary care is going to be where your best place to start. But anyways, okay, so back to gut health. One of the ways that we really support our guts is by making sure we have a good balance of healthy bacteria. And one of the ways that we get that is through probiotics. Probiotics is another one of these kind of buzzy terms out there. But it's really important to know what probiotics do, because they are just introducing these strands of good bacteria that help our guts function, fight off the bad stuff. So, the bad bacteria that introduced through all of the germs we're exposed to and viruses, all of these things, the health of our immune system is going to determine the severity of any illness that we might get, right? So we can get probiotics from a variety of things. It can be in food, so cultured foods, fermented foods, things like, fermented cabbages, slaws, things like that. We're a big kimchi eating family because my husband's half Korean. So that has been something that we've integrated into our diet. One, because it's delicious, although spicy. And then another, because it just, those naturally occurring probiotics in the food are really great for our gut health. But, yogurts tend to have probiotics. If you're someone like me who's very dairy sensitive, you can get the probiotics, like I said, from fermented foods or from just taking a supplement. A lot of people take a supplement. I take a daily probiotic supplement because I know that I really need that extra support. I do think it's important to find a good probiotic supplement if that's something that you decide is going to be good for you, but rotate. So don't just stay with the same brand. There are different strands all the time that are good for your body to be exposed to. So switch them around. And if you have questions about specific types of supplements, I'm always happy to answer questions about that. I know Kimberly Snyder, who is the New York bestselling author of The Beauty Detox. She actually created her own line of probiotics, which have soil-based organisms in them, which are incredibly good for maintaining good gut health. So, checking out some of her resources is also great, or her line of probiotics. You can get probiotics on Amazon all day long. So they're really widely available. There are also beverages now that are starting, that are widely popular, like kombucha, or there's different like fizzing probiotic drinks. My husband actually just got over a sinus infection, and he hadn't been sick for a really long time. And this was kind of a big whammy for him. And he ended up having to take antibiotics. And it's probably been years since he had to do that. So the good news is that he was really concerned about his gut health after having taken antibiotics. So, and he's been traveling. So he has been like sending me pictures of all of these different kombuchas and like probiotic drinks that he's been buying at Whole Foods, which is awesome because 8 years ago he would have never done that. But I think that, now his body knows like, hey, I need this support to function the right way. So, getting him from the drinks, there's really, just a lot of different options for support. I do want to also just add that if you're someone who, like me, struggles with digestive issues, and breaking foods down, adding a digestive enzyme in addition to a probiotic might also be something that you want to think about, because the enzymes that we produce naturally in our bodies will help break foods down and help us absorb. But if that's not happening, then taking an enzyme when you're actually consuming a meal is a really good strategy. So bottom line takeaways are, first, know what your body needs, get some blood work done, find out what you're sensitive to, and then add in those probiotics and get them from your food, from supplements, or beverages that you can consume. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Denise.
I love kombucha. I love it.
I love it too. I have a whole jug, like a jug of locally brewed kombucha in my fridge right now.
I have another question. Do you make your own kimchi?
You know what? We don't. There's it's a crazy process. Some people will even make it, bury it in the backyard, dig it up. And it's a very potent smell, and one that my kids don't necessarily appreciate, the whole process of making it. So
What is it? I don't even know what it is.
Kimchi?
Yeah.
It's just fermented cabbage, but
okay.
all of this stuff that goes into it. I mean, there's garlics and there's spices and then just there's vinegars and everything that go into it. It smells your fridge is going to smell funky if you have a lot of kimchi in it. So we tend to consume it at a Korean restaurant or buy it pre-made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Addie, it's always fun to do projects like this with you. It's always
fun. I love it working with you.
So I guess we can just wrap this up and say, thank you to everyone who has taken some time out to check this out. We really were hoping to provide some valuable content to help you face some family health challenges that I think a lot of us are constantly facing. So please stay tuned, because this is our first in a series we hope to be doing on refreshing your life. And so thank you for being there for the Spring into Health, and stay tuned because you will hear more from us. Thanks so much.
And let me just add real quick that we do have our contact information. It should be posted at the end of this video. So if you need to get in touch with us, want to follow us on any of our social platforms, we'll have that information available too.
Yeah, please feel free to message us anytime with questions. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.